What's up, everyone? I'm Brian Albert. I'm here playing Borderlands, the pre-sequel, with Stephen Manderjones, the gameplay designer from 2K Australia.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And Anthony Birch, writer from Gearbox Software.
Hi.
Hello. So we're going to take a look at Athena. This is gameplay we haven't seen on a level that we haven't seen. Is that correct?
Yep.
That was all you,
Yes.
Steve.
Sorry. Yeah, that's right.
That's fine. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at our skill tree first, because people love the skill trees. This is a huge part of why you play Borderlands. You deck your character out the way you sort of want to. We kind of got a little bit of a look at this earlier, but I don't believe it was quite as full a look as we're having now. So go ahead. You're the gameplay designer.
Yeah,
Go ahead and
sure
tell me
thing.
what's up with her skills.
Okay, so we'll just remind people of her action skill, I guess, which is the kinetic aspis. So this is her personal shield, basically, and when she activates it, she brings it up and she can block all incoming damage from the front. The shield also stores that damage, and then she can throw it out to her enemies, and it deals double that absorbed damage back to them.
Right, sort of like Schmapton Schmamerica.
Yeah,
as I
exactly.
recall, right? Yes, yeah.
So coming down to
us, please.
coming down to her skill trees, we've got the phalanx tree here, which is heavily focused on her action skill. So it has all sorts of buffs to the aspis, increasing its damage, allowing it to absorb elemental effects, and so forth.
Okay.
And there's also some really cool like co-op and buffs for your teammates in this one. So you can like heal your friends or draw aggro off them. So it's really good if you like playing and supporting your friends.
Sure. She's running in.
Skill
She's
tree.
taking the damage.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
this is her tank tree.
Yeah, definitely the tank tree. So coming across to the next one, which is Xiphos. This one has lots of close combat upgrades for her weapon, which is called Xiphos, which is her energy sword.
Mm-hmm.
So lots of melee damage upgrades. And the cool thing about this skill tree is it unlocks sort of her own status effect, which is the bleed effect. And then she has all these other skills that sort of work off that. So she might regenerate health while she's got enemies bleeding, get bonus fire rate while enemies are bleeding. And then her capstone at the bottom there, called Blood Rush, is sort of becomes her tool for spreading her bleeds around the battlefield. So she can dash to an enemy, apply the bleed to them. And if she applies a bleed or kills a target with that, the cooldown is immediately reset, so she can chain it through multiple enemies rapidly.
So she can just run into combat and just start slaying things.
Super
nonstop,
mobile, high
basically.
damage build.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but in previous Borderlands games, you couldn't fill out all of the trees until the DLC came out. Is that correct? Is that how that worked?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
so
in this, you're gonna have to pick and choose as well.
we've slightly modified the progression through these skill trees. So we've got a single point skill in the middle of each of these trees, which means you can get to the bottom at a lower, with less skill points in total.
Okay.
Additionally, we now give the action skill at level 3 rather than 5. So basically, at level 50, you can get 2 capstones now.
Okay, you just have to give up some of the good stuff along the way.
Yeah,
as a result
I mean,
of having
you
two of the
still,
bottom
if you
skills.
want to do that, you might be sacrificing more if you're not filling out a single tree quite as much. So you've got quite a lot of choices there to make.
Okay, interesting. All right, and then this last tier here.
Yep, so this is the Ceronic Storm skill tree, which is her elemental tree. It's heavily focused on fire and shock damage. It makes use of a stacking mechanic here called the Maelstrom stacks, which she generates by dealing fire and shock damage, and they in turn increase her elemental damage output.
Can she deal that damage with weapons that have fire and shock damage?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the main source.
That's how it is,
But
okay.
then she sort of unlocks some other abilities here, like Smite in the middle, which is this special attack that she can do when airborne, that sort of smites them with fire and shock damage from above and does a little AoE. It's
Great,
really
and that
cool.
pairs well because one of the big things in this game is the low gravity.
Yeah,
jumping
exactly.
around,
So
flying
it's
around the
really
moon.
easy for her
Right.
to make use of that. Zeus's Rage is pretty cool. It sort of modifies her aspis when she throws it, and she can spawn a fire and lightning storm at the target area. And that's really great as well because it generates you a ton of Maelstrom stacks. Lots of other skills like this one here that play off the stacks. So like the skill does a base thing, but the more stacks you have, the skill gets stronger as well.
Okay.
One of my favorite ones here is Flash Freeze, which is sort of one of the more advanced skills where, like the Maelstrom stacks, you build them up, but they decay, and the more stacks you have, the quicker they decay. So if you start using Flash Freeze, you might spike up to a couple of hundred stacks, and then you use Flash Freeze to freeze someone, and you freeze your stacks to that high number.
So it seems like she's really about momentum, like
Yeah.
getting them in there and keeping things happening. as fast
It's
as
a
you
very
can.
fast-paced skill tree if you want
Okay.
to sort of really take advantage of all of this stuff. And yeah, lots of cool things here as well. Her capstone is like a slam augment where she lightning tethers to people and generates more stacks, and yeah, just tons of fire and shock damage everywhere.
All right. Stacks. So she's going to get the shield. She's going to defend her allies. She's going to throw out the shield and cause firestorms and all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yep.
All right. Let's jump in and see what she can do. Oh, we got to skill up, of course.
Yeah, so it looks like we're going to try out the Phalanx tree, which is a good
points.
choice because the capstone here is just a ton of fun to watch.
That's the one that makes it bounce.
Yeah,
correct?
that's right. It's Wrath of the Goddess, and it bounces to up to 4 extra targets rather than just the one.
Okay. Let us know a little bit about where we are right now.
So basically, we are on Elpis, which is Pandora's moon, and we are trying to get back to Helios Station, which is the big Hyperion H in the sky that you saw in Borderlands 2. And basically, at the beginning of the game, we get hired by Handsome Jack to help him find a vault. But before we can go after it, the Hyperion space station gets taken over, and we get kicked out, and all the security goes down. So basically, what we're doing on the moon is trying to find a jamming signal that's preventing us from getting back up there, and that's what we're doing. And that, for the first time, you can sort of see Pandora as a planet from the outside.
Okay. So we've actually seen a little bit of this mission before, but not this part.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
We're gonna go. Actually, Chris, if you want to go back and fight some Darksiders, this is a nice little area for checking out how pretty the moon is. But if we want to fight some scavs and start tearing stuff up as Athena.
Okay. Yeah, we only have to kill 5 more Darksiders, wherever those are.
Yeah. Child's play.
All right. Let's go ahead. Are they in here?
Yes, they are in here.
All right.
And you can see up here we've got some new art for our vending machines. Some cool stuff. That Guns in
Okay,
Space
I like Guns in
image.
Space a lot.
I really want that poster as a poster.
Will those posters be available?
I don't know. We should.
We should figure that out.
We absolutely should.
Oh, it's a little Darksider.
So yeah, the scabs in this game, we don't have bandits, we have scabs because they're just scavengers just run on the moon. And like in Borderlands 2, they have, wow, Chris is super good at this game. Second enemy you saw. They have little factions and stuff like that. So Chris has a laser gun, which are a new thing in Borderlands. Basically, you want to talk about that, Steve?
Yeah, sure thing. So Chris has a laser gun here. You can see it's a TDO one, so it has the TDO thing where when you reload it, you throw a copy of the gun. And we just saw the Wrath of the Goddess there, which is super cool. Yeah, so you throw your gun when you reload it, but lasers do an additional thing, which you sort of just saw there, is the thrown projectile will actually zap enemies around it as well as exploding, so that's a cool thing lasers can do. You can also see that the firing mode for this gun is kind of like a railgun, which is only one of the sort of laser variants we've got. So depending on the barrel it has, this is a Hyperion one, the firing mode is different.
Chris, I will never forgive you for this.
Yeah, so you can get like blaster type lasers or Ghostbuster beam type lasers as well.
Okay.
So
there's another enemy to your left.
Yeah, so it was lasers and cryo rounds are the new main
yeah,
defensive weapons,
cryo is
correct?
the new
We're
element.
gonna see some of those a little bit later here.
Yeah, hopefully.
Okay.
Yeah,
We'll
cryo
wait
is the
for
new
that.
element, so that can appear on any type of weapon, the same as fire and shock. And
Sure,
so on.
but laser is its own
Gun
like
class,
its own gun
yeah.
class. Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Oh,
So
Chris.
lasers have their own
You are
ammo type as
adorable.
well.
You know, everyone thinks, oh, no one's better at a game than the developers. Well, that's not true. Once the
They
game
have
is
not met
released,
Chris
people take
Baylor.
over, but
So Chris is showing us something here. You saw the jump pad before, didn't get him up to the top, so he's identified the overcharge box here, which when he shoots it, charges up the jump pad and takes him right up to the top.
okay. Do you need like a electrical type of weapon to
No,
overcharge it?
any gun will activate those.
Okay.
Chris, you may want to activate your action skill to get some health back. I think you invested in that skill, didn't you?
So just by activating
No,
the
you
shield.
didn't. But that is a skill you can do.
there is a
That's
skill.
my favorite skill in that particular tree. I really like
Yeah.
the Phalanx tree because I like being tanky as her.
Yeah, that
And
skill
there's a-
gives you health regen when you activate the shield to you and nearby allies.
Yeah, and then you
as
can
you
ex-
absorb damage, the health regen
Seems like
increases.
it would have been useful to skill that.
And you can also get a skill that increases the amount of time the Aspis is out, so you can basically just become a healing maniac.
Yeah.
These guys are giving you a little bit of trouble here.
So
can
we've
you
got
talk
a-
about what point in the game this is?
This is like a third of the way into the game,
Okay.
maybe earlier. All right, so he just oh god,
He
Chris
just
failed.
went down again.
He basically you can freeze enemies and shatter them like you saw there. His slam, I believe your Oz kit that you have right now allows you to do a cryo nova when you slam.
Yeah, it looked like that. So slam is normally explosive damage, but certain Oz kits.
There you go.
Yeah,
And then
so
you can melee. Oh yeah, just destroy.
yeah,
that
certain
dude.
Oz kits empower your slam with different elements, and so we've got a cryo one there, but you can get shock, fire, all of that stuff. So it's
So
kind of
you'll
nice
have-
if you're missing an element from your guns, you can make up for it with your Oz kit to get all of those elements covered.
So she's gonna you'll have the elements on your weapons. You'll have an element maybe on your Oz kit, and then her Aspis also has its own elements built into it as well?
Yeah, well,
Okay.
by default it just deals explosive damage, but there's a skill in the phalanx tree which Chris has now, where if you are shot with elemental damage, it will remember the type of damage it absorbed, and then it will deal all of the absorbed damage types back when you throw it. Which is interesting, of course, because maybe if there's like a fire Kragon damaging you, and he might be resistant to fire, so then you want to relay his fire damage into another target who's vulnerable to it.
Oh, okay.
So there's a level of strategy there.
What is going on?
This is a capacitor Sugaroth, which is
Of course.
an enemy that you're generally supposed to fight in a car, but Chris Failer has hoop dreams, so he's gonna. Yeah.
Is this the end? Oh no, you'll
There's
get
the end,
this.
Chris.
Yeah, you're probably fine. This is a legendary cryo weapon, I think. So.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. So, are we getting? I believe we're getting direction from like Handsome Jack. He's like telling you where to go and what to do. During
Yeah,
this.
Handsome
that correct?
Jack is
'Cause
your-
he's your boss.
He's your buddy in this game. He's the guy who hires you and brings you to Elpis, and basically is a decent guy for the vast majority of the game. He's basically trying to save Elpis and Pandora from a real bad person. And as the story sort of goes on, he is sort of forced or enticed to do more and more morally ambiguous things to basically save Elpis and Pandora, and sort of
Okay.
hopefully ends in a place where he's closer to the Handsome Jack you know in Borderlands 2.
You're saying it's not his fault that he becomes this jerk that we know in Borderlands 2.
It's kind of his
It's kind
fault.
of- okay.
It depends on how you assign blame. I would love it. I don't know if we'll get this, but I would certainly love it if people came out of this game feeling like, I don't know if I disliked Jack as much as I did, and I don't know if I like the original Vault Hunters as much as I did. That kind of thing. I would love people to, because this universe is so inherently morally sort of gray and sort of revels in it. Because this is a game where you just run around shooting lots and lots of people and just robbing their corpses with no remorse
Right.
whatsoever.
Like even the heroes.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
yep.
especially the heroes.
Yes. And Jack does say at the beginning of 2, I'm actually the hero of this story.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll get some light shed on that after playing this. I love the weapon designs. Like, I feel like it doesn't matter which one you pick up. Like, I'll see ones like, this looks cool. Like, I feel like I've never had this before.
Yes.
Are there
They
still a bazillion, whatever that word is you guys are
87
using?
bazillion.
And
Bajillion.
there's even more now.
Yep.
Because when you combine the cryo plus all the lasers, and the lasers have so much variation within them, there's so many. We've got tons of new uniques and legendaries as well, so lots of loot to find.
Because this takes place before Borderlands 2, unfortunately, there are more than one claptraps in the world. They haven't all been killed, sadly.
Unfortunately.
So you'll run into, like, this is a claptrap that's been, screwed around by some scavs and basically brainwashed to work for them. And you'll meet a bunch of them on Helios Station and all this other kind of stuff. And you'll
Okay.
play as one, of course, but we're not.
So is this guy trying to help you?
Yeah,
Hey,
or
send
you're
me a
basically
password.
trying to get into this scav encampment so you can get what you need to turn off the jamming signal, and he wants to believe that you're a friend of this scav clan, so you went and killed a rival scav clan for him.
So here we are. We're getting a look at a vehicle. It looks pretty cool. Tell me what's going on with this.
Yeah, so this is one of our new vehicles. It's the Moon Buggy. Obviously, it looks a bit similar to the Runner, but it will handle a bit differently, obviously, since you're on the moon. So everything
Can you
feels
take
a
off
little
any
bit
sweet
different.
jumps?
Oh, there's tons of sweet jumps.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember trying to nail a bunch of those
Let's
in
watch
Borderlands.
Failer find one, and let's see how well that turns out for
Yeah,
Chris
you
Failer.
go and demonstrate us one.
Things
yeah.
have been so.
This looks like a jump right here. Is
Let's
that a
see.
jump? Do it.
Here we go. I don't know what.
With
I literally
boosts?
don't know what's going to happen.
It'll be fine. There we
Aw,
Hey.
he succeeded. That's kind of less fun. I'm
Nicely
disappointed.
done. And so the Moon Buggy has some new weapons on it as well. It's got your front machine gun, but the main weapon here is the missile pod, which fires a big volley of homing missiles, which we saw just there.
Okay. If you're playing with 4 people, can 4 people fit in this, first of all?
No, this is
It's
a
just 2
two-person vehicle, so you
But
can
can you
see.
get 2 of them?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You take 2 of them, so you can see the gunners spot up the top there. So if you have a gunner, they get control of the missile pod on this one.
Okay. Yeah, you can do it on your own, though. You're fine. Yeah, this seems like it's working much better for taking out those,
Yeah.
I don't remember what they're called.
The sugar rats.
The sugar ass.
Yeah, the sugar rats do have some, when they see you in a vehicle, they're going to throw some bigger attacks at you as well. So don't expect it to be too much of a walkover.
Okay. They'll adjust. I understand.
Yeah.
They're pulling their punches
Yeah.
when you're on the ground. You can just run over things too, right?
Oh,
there
yeah,
we go. Okay.
definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's half the fun.
Go to a secret entrance. And that's the one that Claptrap told us about, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the scav trap that we saw.
So yeah,
Scav
the
trap, right.
you didn't really get much of a chance to see it there because Claptrap was voiced as always by David Eddings. But the surface of the moon especially has a much more Australian flavor of writing. It was like the vast majority of this game was written by 2K Australia's writers, Maurice Suckling and Merrick Walton, and basically we thought it would kind of be cool if like the moon felt like another continent or had a more Australian feel to it than
the moon is Australia,
Pandora.
is what you're saying.
Yeah, the moon is Australia, and
Okay.
Pandora is like America, basically.
Okay.
Who knows what we'll do if we ever go to other planets? I don't know.
All right, let's jump back in and check out the other vehicle that you're going to show off, the Stingray. Look at this little like hover bike thing. Tell me what's going on with this.
Yeah, so the Stingray's a second new vehicle. This one's a bit different. It's a single passenger vehicle, unlike previous Borderlands vehicles that always have 2 to 4 players. So to make up for that, you can actually have 4 of these. So 4 of you riding Stingrays together. As you can see here, it's basically a hover bike.
Can you have 2 people on Stingrays and 2 people in the moon buggy?
Yeah, you can mix and match like that
Okay,
if you
I
want
like
to.
it.
So as you can see Chris doing there, instead of the afterburner, he's actually got like a vertical boost jump. So that opens up all new levels of mobility for getting around the maps, because you can just jump over things, jump up onto higher levels and things like that.
And is that jump sort of amplified by the lower gravity?
Yeah, exactly. And additionally, when you're up in the air, if you hit what is normally the handbrake button, you can slam back down to the ground.
So it's like your Oz stomp thing. You
Yeah,
have that
pretty
on your
much.
vehicle as well.
As Chris just demonstrated for us there. So you can pancake enemies with it.
Boy, Chris, I believe in you. Do it. You can pancake one person without dying. There we go. Chris Taylor.
Yeah, and we got new guns as well on the Stingray. So it's got a laser on the front, and you can see the gun on the back there is firing homing cryo rockets. So it's kind of cool. You can, freeze enemies with that, and then hit them with your other guns.
Okay, and then this is just going to heal up automatically, right? Because I'm kind of worried.
Yeah, I am too. This would be the first
Making us a
time
bit
we've
nervous,
seen
yeah.
this thing explode so far in the week we've been showing this off.
IGN exclusive.
Yep. And also, this is we kind of cheated to get the Stinger out of here. You usually wouldn't get it quite this early in the story, but we figured it'd be
Okay.
fun to show off.
Sorry, viewers. You will never get to do this.
You'll never ever
Specifically
get to
not
this
like
until
this.
you get to the part in the story where you can.
Yeah, Oh, you're full health now. You're fine.
Yeah. You're back in my good graces, Failure. I love you again.
Yeah, so with the extra mobility you get from these Stingray jumps, there's sort of all new areas of the maps you can explore and get to. And
That you cannot get to otherwise?
Yeah, definitely. And also, like, it's not necessarily the fastest, like, vehicle along the ground, but when you take into account the sort of fact you can just take huge shortcuts across the map, it's definitely the fastest way to get from A to B
Yeah.
in most cases.
It's a very satisfying feeling to not have to ever drive around the thing, really.
That sounds great.
Yeah, and then there's a bit of a trick to driving it too. Like, if you sort of combine the terrain with your boost jump, you can get some really big jumps and just sort of clear huge chunks of the map.
Are there... Because I think in Borderlands 1 there were actually points where it was like make this jump. It specifically pointed out that if you made a jump, and it would like give you... It was like an objective or something. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
it was. Yeah, in Borderlands 1, Pisswash Gully was basically like, make this jump so we know how so we can know that you know how to use the boost on this
Right,
car.
right. Are there any things like that in this in this game?
I think so.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
a
Yeah.
few objectives that
Alright.
sort of, require you to get there, and you probably need the Stingray to do it.
Okay.
Just Failure, you don't have any skills. What are you doing? And also in the game.
Ugh.
Chris Failure!
He'll be fine. I have faith.
Sure, it'll be fine. There we go.
Just pull out a legendary pistol.
Yeah, no
problem.
big deal. If you have the legendary Jacobs, you can survive a lot of things, as it turns out.
So are we getting close to that secret entrance? I kind of, between like jumping to the vehicles and stuff, I sort of forgot where we are along the path to getting back onto the Hyperion station.
Oh, yeah, I mean, we could. We're just not gonna. We're just showing off this other stuff instead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't worry, you'll be seeing more of the world and the story from Wilhelm and some other people's perspectives, though. Don't worry.
How many other vehicles are there in the game, or can you talk about that yet?
I do not know.
You don't know?
Yeah, we don't
All right.
know.
Just curious. I just like the ones I've seen so far. I think I would stick with this one. I tend to not like to rely on having someone else drive me around.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't trust them.
This is a really good.
Yeah.
If you're the kind of co-op player that I am, where you don't ever like waiting on people and you basically resent the idea of co-op in and of itself, this is
I don't
really
know
good
about that.
because you
Oh,
can just abandon.
don't
your
do
friends.
that.
Yeah, that made me nervous. The cool thing is, though, in co-op you can have obviously 4 of these sort of swarming your enemies with it, and when you combine the weapons, like this one has the cryo rocket, but the other variant has like a flak cannon that fires a big volley of explosives. You're freezing them, and then your friends are shattering them with the flak cannon. So there is kind of that co-op element to it.
Okay, and can you just pick which one you want? I don't like this at all. Are you okay? No, this is fine. You're good.
Oh, nice. I honestly didn't think you were gonna make that. Oh, now you're gonna get blown up by that dude.
Yeah, that's about us.
So you can, when you're at the terminal to get the vehicle, you can pick which variant.
Yeah,
you want. Okay. Is it better to kind of pick different ones?
They're both good weapons. I think they have slightly different strengths, and so you can pick whichever one you like. Really.
Okay. So that jump is a jump you could do. Boost pads work for vehicles? Sorry, I just switched between questions immediately.
Yeah, that's okay. No, they don't.
Okay.
The Stingray doesn't need it. It'd probably fly out of the map if they did.
Can you? Could you have made that jump without the Stingray?
Definitely not.
Okay. I like that. I like that. Shortcuts. That seems. Yeah, I would.
Like,
turn around
he's
too.
like,
I would do that exactly.
I would rather be alive.
Oh, those
look at this
grenades on
man
you?
through Nice.
No.
Oh, good.
It's like they
Oh,
knew.
no.
Oh, yeah, you lost
It's
it.
like they knew you were coming back to your Stingray and left
You
you
just
some
witnessed
grenade.
history. It's the first time that's ever happened in this press tour.
Super badass little scav. There we go. Nice. All right, Steven, Anthony, thank you so much for showing off Athena. We're going to have more videos on the other characters and some other environments in Borderlands Super Sequel, so stick around and check those out. For more on Borderlands, keep it right here on IGN.